To Catholic Forum. I'm Bob Krebs, and this morning on the program, I'm very happy to welcome two folks from the Malvern Retreat House in Malvern, Pennsylvania. First of all, I'd like to welcome Beth Racine. Beth, welcome to the program.
Oh, thanks, Bob. It's nice to be here.
And John Kozakowski. John, thanks for coming to be with us today on the program.
Thanks, Bob. Pleasure being here, and thanks for inviting us.
It's my pleasure. We're talking today about the Malvern Retreat House in Malvern, Pennsylvania. Basic information. Where is it located? We know it's in Malvern, but and when did it get started and who started it?
Well, as you said, Bob, it is in Malvern. For those familiar with Malvern, PA, it's directly across from Malvern Prep School on Warren Avenue. We're situated on 125 wooded acres of countryside in Malvern. Malvern operates under the full canonical jurisdiction of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, but what makes Malvern unique is it is owned and operated by the laity. It is not run by the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, which makes us a very, very unique retreat house.
And it was started by a lay group, correct?
That is correct. Ironic, 1912, so 101 years ago, a man by the name of John Ferrick attended a retreat at Mount Manresa in New York, and he was so inspired by that retreat experience, he came back and visited Monsignor Drumgoole in St. Charles Seminary, and in 1912, December, those two conceived the idea of having lay retreats in the Philadelphia area. And from that meeting was born essentially the Laymen's Retreat League, which has evolved into Malvern Retreat House.
And that organization operates the retreat house to this day? Is that correct?
That is correct. There's a board of directors. I'm the vice chairman of that board. We have a full senior staff and admins that run the facility on a day-to-day basis, but it is owned and operated by the laity and overseen by the board of directors.
So why is it important for Catholics, and not just Catholics, but Christians of every denomination, to take time out for retreat? Beth?
Well, it's important in this day and age, especially in this climate today that we live in, that people can have a place to go where they can truly practice their faith and be among others who are like-minded and striving for the same goals and the same things for their families, for their spiritual well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And just to add a little bit, I mean, the word retreat implies a negative thing sometimes. You say an army retreats, but in a real sense, a retreat is to step back from your life for some finite period of time, to reflect on where you are in your life, what is your relationship with Jesus, where you're headed in the future, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to sort of take a deep breath, especially in today's society, and evaluate where you are and where you're going.
Especially in this day and age when we're all walking around with our cell phones and we're wired to the internet 24/7 and we're constantly bombarded with media and news and so forth. It's good to step back and enjoy some quiet time, not only for prayer, but to listen to God's voice in our lives.
That's absolutely correct, Bob. And just to add on to that point a little bit, the men's retreats, there's 48 traditional weekends where we have what we call the men's retreats. I'll say the foundation of Malvern Retreat House when it was born in 1912.
So is that the men of Malvern that we hear about?
You hear about the men of Malvern. To be frank, we're trying to move away from that phrase, right. And because we have spread a wider net, we now have women, high school students, other unique retreats. But the point I was going to make, we try to observe what we call the golden silence on our weekend retreats, where we speak only in a specific area of the retreat house grounds or at meals. And this, again, gives us that moment that you just described about ability to reflect and really assess where you are.
Now, you say that the retreat house is on 125 acres. Tell us what people experience when they go there. What do they see?
Well, when you first drive into the gates, it's just beautiful. You're just met by majestic trees and nature, and it's just you immediately feel a sense of peace. Everyone says that when they come in, and it's just stunning, and it makes people reflect, I think, even from my own experience going there. It just kind of brings you back to the roots of who you are and connect with your Creator. and that's just driving in, actually. And then once you're there, it's just very peaceful and welcoming, and the atmosphere, it's the way life should be. Reflective, you can take the time to think and really feel what you're feeling and experience God's presence. It's wonderful to behold, and I think it's something everyone should get to experience at least once.
Tell us about the amenities at Malvern.
Well, the amenities, they're very numerous. We have a traditional facility, which is the building that was on the premises when Malvern
it was purchased
started.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's a historic element, beautiful buildings. There's St. Joseph's Hall, and we have, a common dining room there. There are 4 private oratories, which are beautiful and very prayerful and inspire people to come closer to God. Mm-hmm. There are 300 private rooms in these facilities as well.
Wow, 300 rooms, wow.
Private rooms, yes. And then we have the newer facility that opened about 10 years ago. In fact, this August, we're going to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of this building. It's the McShane Horseman Family Life Center. And it has 50 private rooms, each with a double bed, single bed, and a private bath. And this has facilitated us in order to accommodate families, which we have 2 family retreats coming up. We have a July one and one for Labor Day. 4th of July and Labor Day weekends, there are family retreats that are very popular and seem to be catching on with a lot of people.
In case you're just tuning in and listening to Catholic Forum, I'm Bob Krebs, and this morning I'm happy to have as my guests Beth Racine and John Kozakowski from Malvern Retreat House in Malvern, Pennsylvania. John, can you add anything? What else makes Malvern a unique place?
Well, as Beth said, we have the 4 traditional facilities that have the private rooms. In 2 of those, we have, I'll say, very magnificent chapels where, seat maybe up to 200 to 300 people at the most, but one's in St. Joe's Hall, one is in what we call Our Lady's Hall. There are also a lot of shrines and ways of the cross, or different paths that you literally walk around the 125 acres any time of day, whether it's evening, afternoon, early morning, whatever you like. And you can visit the shrines, say some prayers there perhaps, do the Way of the Cross either with a group or by yourself. We have a magnificent Way of the Cross, in fact, at the Family Life Center. It's actually a 3-dimensional bronze depiction of the Stations of the Cross, and it's quite worth just the trip to, walk that piece of the property.
Right. How's the food?
Food is excellent. Our hospitality chairman, John Cannon, puts together a great group of meals. You get basically 5 meals on a traditional weekend, starting with Friday evening dinner, and nobody walks away hungry, so to speak. And we also have a little snack room if you really have problems. And some men actually, like myself, bring a little extra candy, whatever, to the retreat.
Now, you mentioned, the men's retreat. Beth, you talked a little bit about family retreat. What types of retreats are offered, and what are maybe some of the upcoming retreats that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, some of the upcoming retreats include new women's initiatives. We did a couple of focus groups as part of the 100th anniversary plans, and we met with women and we met with young adults to expand our programming for them, because we realize that they are looking for ways to deepen their spirituality too.
Right.
And so we have an upcoming women's retreat that is going to be taking place June 21st. And that is going to be an educational type of retreat where women can learn from experts in the field. We have a few doctors, and they're going to be coming in and talking about issues that are relevant to women. So that's coming up June 21st. We have just had a young adults retreat that was geared to people ages 20 to 40, and that was a very big success. Mm-hmm. And we're planning to do a lot more programming for young adults to get them more involved and engaged.
We've also introduced some unique retreats. We actually had a retreat for the unemployed, basically based on the economic times recently. We also have retreats for the homeless, ironically, where
Wow.
homeless individuals are invited in under proper supervision and to experience the retreat at Malvern. I would encourage any listeners to visit our website because it lists all our upcoming retreats from now through the end of the year, 2013, and going forward. And that's at malvernretreat.com. One word, malvernretreat.com is our website.
So if someone is listening who feels that he or she might be interested in going on a retreat, they can go to the website and pick one and apply or join or enroll.
Absolutely.
Or if there's a group of people who you want to have your own retreat, you can talk to you guys about housing the people, even supplying a retreat master or not. I mean, they could bring their own, or you could find someone for them. Is that right?
Right. We try to, address the needs of our constituency, whether they're high school students or whatever. So if you do have a group that might be interested in going on retreat, I encourage you to call our number, 610-644-0400, and we'll give you a guided tour perhaps or answer any questions you might have, and hopefully we can have you join us at our beautiful site, Malvern Retreat House.
We also have recovery retreats for people who are working 12-step programs. Those are very popular, and in fact, the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill W., who put out the big book, recommends retreats for people in recovery, and he himself has been a retreatant at Malvern. We do have a photo when we were publishing our book, our anniversary book that will be coming out shortly. There is a photo of Bill W. attending a Malvern retreat, so that's very nice. But it does help a lot for people who are in recovery. We have Matt Talbot retreats for the men, and we have women's serenity retreats for the women. I wanted to also mention about the upcoming Janet Benkovic retreat, which is taking place July 12th to 14th. It's her 7th annual, so she's been coming here for a long time, and it typically sells out. And I would encourage listeners, if they're interested in attending, it's Women of Grace, and the theme for the retreat is Entering the Heart of the Father, Healing for Divine Love for Such a Time as This. And she has Father Philip Scott as her co-director of the retreat. And previous to the Women of Grace retreat is the Benedicta Leadership Institute, which is also very popular. And that's July 11th through 12th.
Great. And all that information is available on malvernretreat.com, right?
That is
Yes.
correct.
So you mentioned that you're in your 101st year. How are you celebrating this landmark?
Well, last year obviously was our 100th year. We had several major cornerstone events. We had a gala event in May of 2012. We had a communion breakfast celebrated by the Archbishop of Philadelphia, Archbishop Chapeau. We trying to use that 100th anniversary as a springboard to essentially prepare for our next 100 years. One aspect of that is we are in the public phase of a capital campaign to raise our development funding such that we can be a viable Christian/Catholic organization going forward. So if any of you guys have 10 or 20 extra bucks in your pocket, they would all help. Again, we are fully owned and operated by the laity. We receive next to no corporate funding, and we want to continue our mission, but clearly you need the wherewithal to do that.
Absolutely. What does the future hold for Malvern Retreat House?
I think it's a great, exciting future. I'm excited that we have ladies on our board of directors. That's a fairly new wrinkle, believe it or not. We have all the different new retreats that Beth alluded to. We have many, many more high schools coming to us, and we believe they're the seeds of the future. We invest in those retreats because we believe they will become our retreatants of the future and spread the word and basically bring additional people to Malvern. Clearly, if nobody comes, we don't have an organization, we don't have a facility. So anything we can do to enhance our growth and sustain our missions, we're excited about.
Well, it's a beautiful place, and it's not far from Wilmington. It's not really far from any place in Delaware or Maryland's Eastern Shore. It's worth the trip, and it's worth checking out. How can our listeners get more information?
Well, they can visit our website at malvernretreat.com, or they can call us at 610-644-0400.
Very good. Beth Racine and John Kozakowski, thanks so much for being with us today on Catholic Forum.
Thank you, Boz. My pleasure.
Thank you, Bob, and thanks for having us.
Next Sunday on Catholic Forum, we'll celebrate Father's Day when Rob Kaiser, founder of CatholicDadsOnline.com, will be my guest. Are you on Facebook? If so, I invite you to follow Catholic Forum at facebook.com/Catholic Forum. Well, that concludes this week's program. To make a comment in writing, you can write us at Catholic Forum in care of the Office of Communications, Diocese of Wilmington, P.O. Box 2030, Wilmington, Delaware 19899, or you can send us an email. The email address is catholicforum@cdow.org. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great week, and please tune in again next Sunday for another edition of Catholic Forum.